Well guys, now that Paper Mario the Origami King has been out for some time now, I think it's finally time to get back to business. Yep, this idea was totally inevitable based on the recent trends in my videos, and so here we are continuing the same thing that's totally not boring or repetitive. No, I'm being serious. It's not, because it's a totally different game and hasn't been done yet. Anyway, I did have fun playing the Origami King, and one of the reasons why this game kept me captivated was because the chapters, or should I say worlds in this installment, were really interesting and honestly just unique to traverse in. And so that is why today we will dedicate the first set of Origami King rankings to this one. So I welcome y'all to ranking the chapters or worlds in Paper Mario the Origami King from worst to best. Sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the show. Alright, so starting off this list, we're gonna start really basic, and that is World 1, where the red streamer resides. This is the one that started it all, and I'm actually counting this after Mario and Olivia fell down the clown car and ended up in Whispering Woods. Honestly, World 1 was pretty basic. Like, the overworld just introduces the player on how the game is going to feel like, and you learn moves such as the confetti bag, using your hammer to solve puzzles, and really the world here doesn't feel immersive yet. It's kind of just condensed. It feels more like Color Splash in a way, but it obviously introduces other important elements such as like the gaming's writing style, humor, and which is actually an important mainstay of the recent Paper Mario games. But yeah, overall, Whispering Woods, Picnic Road, and Overlook Mountain just had a series of introductory puzzles. The first Velimental Temple, which was heavy on history, wasn't really as immersive or interesting as the rest of the Velimental Temples, and setting your eyes on Toad Town for the first time gave you an idea of what the game will be about, setting that initial tone, what it will provide you. So basically, to conclude, World 1 by no means is not bad at all. I'm just putting it first on the list because, like I said, there's really not that much. It just tells you how to play the game, and it has a very basic grassy level, and the writing is nice, seeing the characters for the first time, dealing with what you would have to do probably later on in the game. It's all there, and honestly, like, everything just gets better from here, which to me is a great thing in a video game. But yeah, World 1, Red Streamer, starting off the list as the worst one, technically. Now, actually, number 5 was a little bit more difficult to rank, just because, like I said, the worlds get better when you progress through the game. And so I finally decided that at number 5 sits the Scorching Desert itself, World 3, which housed the Yellow Streamer. Now, let me just say, I might be a little bit biased, because I personally don't like desert levels as much, but I honestly thought this world dragged on after a while, specifically during the points of investigation within the Scorching Sandpaper Desert. Now, I gotta say, I really liked the driving concept, and it was fun, but there was just a lot of blank space in this world. Like, the desert itself really only served in activating the Toad's Towers, and to me, the world didn't get spicy till you enter the Temple of Shrooms. I just wish there was more to do in Shroom City, because really you were only there to find Professor Toad and to solve that one puzzle regarding like the moon or the sun or whatever through the reflective lake. And while it does sound like I'm just writing off that I didn't like this world overall, it does get extra points because this is where we got more intel on Bobby's story, especially in the beginning, and seeing how strong Olivia's desire to take down her brother after, what happened earlier. So yeah, overall, I mean, it just feels like it was a fun level in a sense, but it didn't really get there till later on. And as I mentioned, like, the temple itself had a lot more to do rather than being before you get to it. Coming in at number 4, we arrive at the last world in the game, the Origami Castle. I'm just gonna flat out say this: the ending was pretty epic, and I thoroughly enjoyed that one minigame where you fire bob-ombs at King Ollie's Paper Air Force. But that aside, you get a pretty bland Origami Castle to explore in, and that's where you spend a majority of your time, well, exploring. I wish there was a little bit more diversity in the rooms because they all look pretty generic for the last level, and luckily the final boss fight wasn't a total letdown at all. I was honestly pretty content with the different phases, and I'm really glad that Bowser gets to play a huge part in the second one. But yeah, I can't really say much about this because it was the last world, and I personally think there should have been more. There was a lot of ups, like I said, with the Air Force type of deal, the little cutscenes where you're inside that volcano. but like I said, there's really not too much to do in World 6. It's just the final stretch. It heightened tensions, and like I said, Nintendo did a great job persuading the player to finish the game, but I just honestly wish there was a lot more to do. Like I said, with like World 3, there wasn't much to do in the beginning, but this one, I feel like it was a little bit more rushed, and for a final world, I expected to see a little bit more content. But yeah, I'm just going to say this again. The ending was super awesome, and I gotta say, it's probably one of my favorite endings to a Mario game. Okay, so now on to our top 3. First at bat, we have the Sky High Green Streamer itself, World 5. Now, this is a chapter I was looking forward to the most because this is the one that had Bowser Jr. and Kamek in it. When I finally arrived, it actually did not disappoint, thank goodness. This was a pretty solid chapter overall, and I really enjoyed the concept of touring around Shanri Spa, or however you say it. And it also had really nice continuity with Bowser Jr., you know, getting cut, rippled, losing his color, and in order to get to the castle, you just had to traverse through the different parts of the Sky World to get him back to normal. Oh, and I really enjoyed the Shy Guys finish last segment. I thought it was really cool, including like mathematics, figuring out where the one enemy was located inside a box, or even like shifting, you know, those tiles and stuff back and forth to be able to get the picture correctly. So I don't know, it was very different compared to like the rest of the stuff in the game. So I'm glad they included that. And also the bosses in this world, specifically the spooky cut soldiers, the Super Bros, and the scissors, were really scary. Specifically, the scissors, I think, was the most scary because you literally have to time his attacks in order to not game over if you accidentally break its cover. So ultimately, this world was a solid one, as I mentioned, not particularly as amazing as the other two, though. Alright, so here we are at the silver medal. Comes in the Wind Waker-esque level itself, World 4. Home of the purple streamer. Now, at first, I thought I would hate this world because the idea of sailing kind of bothered me, but you know what? It ended up being pretty fun, like Wind Waker sailing type of fun. It wasn't slow, and there was a plethora of islands to choose from. I was also a sucker for a constant treasure hunting ordeal, and you know, I even got to see some story progression after we met up with Luigi in the Origami Craftsman's home. I thought that was a nice touch. You don't really see that often in a Mario game, something like kind of deep down, kind of like more like the Rosalina story collection that you saw in Galaxy 1. Like, we haven't seen something like that in quite a while. In addition, I loved how Nintendo kept up with the Zelda references in this one, especially after we got into Diamond Island, which was home of the 3 trials such as Courage, Wisdom, and Power. These trials allowed for different pacing, and I liked how you had to complete the Ice Valley Mental Area before finishing the other 2, and I personally liked the Ice Valley Mental Area, so, you know, plus points for World 4 over there. The Sea Tower to me wasn't too special though, and I thought the Stapler boss wasn't that interesting and easy, but I think everything else I mentioned was enough to secure the second place spot. And finally, at number 1, we got Shogun Studios. Yes, the World 2 Blue Streamer area, in my opinion, is the best world in Paper Mario The Origami King. This section overall was just so interactive, and it takes 2 themes I love from Thousand Year Door: series of investigation and entertainment. Shogun Studios combine both, such as finding a baseball for the dry bones to use to play catch, and using the prize you get from them to make a chain chomp happy. That way, you can progress to the southern area. In addition, we had Bobby, who was really interesting yet an exciting companion to have all the time. And really, I thought the interactive areas we traversed in, such as the Eddy River and the Ninja attraction, were sweet bonuses. Not to mention, the Velumundal Temple was located in a pretty area and had interesting puzzles to solve, which I thought fit a good challenge. And, you know, don't even get me started on how Nintendo decided to create a full-on show for us to partake in the Big Show Theater. I thought that was really awesome, and nothing could top that in the Origami King. That presentation, getting to the second boss, which is Rubber Bands, was fulfilling, and I really like the fact that this world particularly had a lot of charm going. So, really, to conclude, World 2 had the funs and thrills of Glitzville and Poshley Heights, but I feel Nintendo took it to the next level by incorporating new and original themes to the series and adding multiple opportunities to interact with characters and objects around your surroundings in positive ways. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Shogun Studios definitely wins it for me in my first run playing through Paper Mario The Origami King. Okay guys, so there you have it, all the chapters, worlds, levels, whatever you guys want to call them, ranked. I hope y'all get comfortable with more Origami King videos because we have some more coming into this channel. Now, before we go, I just want to apologize for the lack of content the past week or so. I lost power during a storm and I didn't have power for basically 5 days straight. It was really a nightmare for me, especially since I'm a nerd and I stay in pretty much like all the time. But yeah, regardless, I want to thank you guys for your continuous support and for tuning in today's video. Leave a like if you enjoyed today's ranking video and consider subscribing for more Mario and other things Nintendo related. Catch you all on the flip side. Peace!